Right, we're back. Very depressing start to the podcast because Rovers are crap at the minute. The last time of the season, or the most important part of the season, we've gone to the dogs basically.
Yeah, it's definitely how it feels. All that momentum that we built up pre-international break has just disappeared. Two very disappointing performances against Birmingham and Norwich, particularly on Good Friday with the big crowd on.
Bumper crowd.
Obviously a massive game as well, huge opportunity. To me, like if we'd have won on Friday, it would have been 1 foot in the playoffs. And instead now, we're back in the situation where it's like it's 50-50.
And we're going to get in there, yeah. And that's bad considering we've got a game in hand. We're a point above 7th. And we're still... None of us are confident now, especially after Friday's game. None of us are confident. I think the Birmingham one you could scratch as a one-off. Almost like we were unlucky, but it's just a lack of fight, and we'll get on to the reasons why that is, or why I believe. It's fine. So yeah, we'll start with Birmingham away, chronological order.
Yeah.
And I said when we played Birmingham at home, they had all the chances, didn't they? And Kaminsky had an absolute worldie.
Yeah.
And people were saying, we were quite lucky. Birmingham had 3.8 XG or something, and we beat them 2-1. And I said that at the time that we're not lucky. We've just got one of the best keepers in the championship. Well, John Ruddy had the absolute game of his life. And I don't think he's one of the best keepers, but he is a good goalkeeper. Obviously played in the Prem for all them years, played for England. And he made some probably not top class saves. Probably the one from Hedges is probably the best save at game in it. Whereas on another day, you probably one or two of them go in and you either get a point or you win the game. Big players do that for you at big occasions. Did you watch it?
No, I was at Dawn doing the match report, so I didn't watch it. Or
last one at season.
Yeah, that's it's Darwin's season. Well, the home season done anyway. They've got 2 more away games, playing at Nelson tomorrow, and then I think South Liverpool, I think, away on the final day next Saturday. So
they have to play for?
No, mid-table.
No.
There's
better than last season, though.
Yeah,
fighting for life.
Better season. But there's too big a gap between them playoffs now. Better season.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't watch it. From just gauging off the reaction on Twitter after the game, it was very much people were just kind of wanting to write it off and move on. It weren't really it was a disappointment, but it weren't a panic. It was kind of like a...
These games happen.
It happens. It doesn't really change out. But obviously, after Friday's game, the mood was very different. Because of how big an opportunity Friday was.
Yeah, I think... going back to Saturday, Travis was everywhere in midfield and Morton was nowhere, and I don't want to keep... To be honest, I would love if we never had to speak to him ever again. Never had to speak about him ever again. That would be my wish in life. But unfortunately, whilst he plays, we do have to speak about him because he is costing us games every single time he plays. And it's no coincidence that our best form was when we've had Travis and Buckley playing together in midfield.
Yeah.
And you watch him play, and I know a lot of people have said about Hyam and Carter playing the ball backward and forward, but you need someone to come and get the ball off him in midfield and then spray it about. Travis bombs on further forward and is probably not the most comfortable receiving the ball off the centre-back, so he's back to goal. Morton will so wherever the striker's closing the centre-back down, you could draw a straight line from the centre-back who's got the ball, the man that's closing him down, and Tyler Morton. He just stays behind them all the time. He doesn't ever drop a shoulder and get into space and ask for the ball to feet. If he does get it to feet, it either goes straight back to where it's come from or back to the goalkeeper. He never turns, looks to get his head up, beats a man. He just doesn't add anything to the team at all. And I just feel like there's no competition for places again.
No, I think Buckley getting injured against Stoke, it's such a huge blow it felt it at the time. I think it's showing week on week now. You just look at the differences in at the difference in both performances and results since that injury. In terms of Morton, although the club hasn't confirmed it, we've mentioned it time and time again on here that there has to be something in his contract, and I don't think even the biggest, I don't know, the biggest optimist, I suppose, the biggest Morton lover, if there is such a thing, can deny that at this point. Well, yeah, I don't think anyone can deny that at this point. There must be a stipulation in his contract.
Well, why won't the club tell us that then? If they came out and were honest and said, right, there's certain financial stipulations, or we've made an agreement in a loan deal that we have to play him when he's fit, that's fair enough, that's fine. But if Thomason is picking him based on performances, I can't accept that. And I'd rather sack Thomason now, and I've loved Thomason since he's been here. But if you're going to pick someone who is costing us playoffs after he's already cost us an FA Cup quarter final, then I'm sorry, I'd rather.
FA Cup semi, it costs us in the quarter final.
It costs us in the quarter final, and if we don't finish in the playoffs, it will be largely down to him, because there's been games this season where he's give goals away. Wigan away comes to mind. The 2 goals on Friday against Norwich, both coming from him not challenging him in midfield or just shitting himself because he's an absolute wet ass. And people say like, so I don't know, I got someone on the way back from Sheffield United. He said, you don't come through Liverpool's academy if you're not a good player. I can name you, if you name me 3 good players that come through, I can name you 30 bad ones that have come through as well. And we've had a few of them. Leighton Clarkson, Jay Spearing, like we've seen some of them, John Flanagan, Sheji Ojo, Jordan Ibe. Just because you come through Liverpool's academy doesn't make you a good player. Our academy is better than theirs. Yeah. And our academy has got better players coming through than him at the minute, who can't get in the team because he's been shoved into there no matter what. And that's where I draw the line, because like Thomason, if there is like a loan agreement in place or like financial repercussions for not playing him, if you want to be successful, you need to, especially like in a game where it could put you 7 points clear to get in the playoffs, Thomason has to put his foot down and say, no, I'm picking my best team, and he's not even in the best squad, no man, best team.
No, I think the second goal on Friday, a lot of the blame's obviously been directed towards him. Now I thought, I've kind of got 2 ways that I see it. I think the type of fouls that the referee was giving in that game, you'd have thought it might have been given, because they were giving a lot of soft fouls. But at the same time, you look at it, you take the context of the game away, and you look at it from your own point of view. Should it have been a foul? I think no, it should have been stronger. So there's 2 ways.
Well, like he's more bothered about the incoming contact than he is about winning the header. Like, he's only headed it the way he has, away from all the players and to the fullback, because he's took his eye off the ball and thought, oh shit, someone's going to jump into me in a second. And he's just like jumped up, ducked, and just given the ball back. Like, I don't know, like, for me, if you're going to be a centre midfielder, you need to win that header, put it in a better area for us, and then if they do come and foul you, then you take the contact.
Yeah.
But he's almost like, I'm so worried about the contact that I'm not even going to think about heading it, as long as it just hits my head and I'll win a free kick. Same with Sheffield United, like, just thinks like, oh, they've made contact, so I'll go down, rather than kicking the ball out of play, then I'll get the free kick eventually.
Do you think it's part of like a bigger problem that we need to be tougher as a team?
Yeah, we are too nice, definitely. I didn't really see any examples of it at Birmingham away. Probably more that like Djukovic had. I mean, he always does have a good game against us, no matter who he plays for. He always has a worldie against us for some reason. But, I mean, he got the better of Hyam and Carter, basically, which is unusual. I thought Sargent got the better of him on Friday. There is like a nicety to us, and we're just not ruthless enough as a club. Like, we just, like, the ball goes out of play, we're too slow to get it back onto the pitch. There's fans doing kick-ups with the ball, like, in the corner rather than getting the ball. Like, at a time when you were 1-0 down, and
it would daft that, weren't it?
And I just think, like, it's almost like we see it as a day out rather than trying to win football games. I just don't understand it at all.
The atmosphere on Friday just wasn't what I was expecting at all. Like, it just kind of, felt like the whole thing passed us by, and I was thinking like 20,000 on today, or around about 20,000. Like, the atmosphere is going to be everyone's going to be really up for it, and it was just kind of a bit.
I think because it's a bank holiday, because the weather's nice, it's almost like a 2-hour break in between pubs. That's what it was for most people.
Yeah.
Like, people have been out since dinner time, few pints, walk down in the sunshine, go and watch the football. Well, the rare amount of football that was shown on Friday, and then like can't wait to get back to pubs. When it goes to 2-0 down, people are just like, seeing beer garden. We're not going to come. We didn't even not come back from 1-0 down all season, so we're not going to come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah.
There was a moment where Diaz clipped it over to Gallagher, and he goes through 1-on-1, and then he almost like backs off to let the fullback get it first. We're just thinking like any other striker just gets his arm across, barges him out of the way, and volleys it back at net. But it's almost like, after you, sir.
Yeah.
You get this ball.
It's conceding that first goal at the time that we did, and obviously our record of not coming back from behind like to win a game all season. That doesn't help. But surely, if you've got that problem, then you've got to get off to an aggressive start. You've got to be on the front foot.
Yeah.
Particularly in a game like that, you've got to use big crowd, hugely important game as incentives to help you in that. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to start on the front foot, and you've got to look to score the opening goal. So we can point fingers at that goal, like kind of killing any like early momentum in the game, if you will. Any.
But it started straight away because I think Diaz comes inside, takes an heavy touch. Morton tries playing it back to the fullback. They intercept it, and Hernandez shoots, and Pers saves it for a corner. That's 60 seconds in, 70 seconds. So automatically people are like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And in such a big game when the fans are so nervous anyway, like it's not really one to settle the nerves. Whereas if that's you at the other end pinching the ball and getting a shot and winning a corner, then the fans get behind you and it builds events. But I don't know. It has been over the last probably since Millwall in the quarter-final, where every big game we've had, or every important game we've lost.
Just been a bit timid and a bit like we've shrunk to the occasion almost a bit.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. Because surely as footballers you look forward to them occasions, and a sold out Blackburn and you can't wait to score in front of. But it just seems like complete opposite. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm just someone that goes down to Ewood and screams at them, and boos them off,
And rants on you every week.
yeah. So yeah, we were sitting midfield again on Friday. Nothing up top. I think Gallagher had 6 touches in the first half, which is not enough for any player at home. And like people are saying like he's making runs and stuff, but runs are like surely they work on it in training.
Surely that's the bare minimum.
Well, yeah, that as well. But the passing centre half to centre half and stuff, keeping the ball, and like Gallagher's like making diagonal runs and whatnot, and it's almost like, well, have you tried it in training that one of these times you're gonna knock a long ball over the top and you get through, or are you just running for running's sake? Like, surely you'd be better off standing still whilst they're doing that, and then when the ball goes out to the winger, then using your energy to sprint into the channel and get the ball, not jogging between centre backs whilst our centre backs are taking short goal kicks. It was almost like running for running's sake, and then gets in at full time. I'm getting like 13 miles you run today. You've been absolutely clash you. You've been like, I've run 30 miles, but I've touched ball 8 times. Like, so what are the key statistics you want people to reach? What are the goals for each individual player? And I don't think they're either set high enough, or I don't know. I'm kind of like not fed up at the season, because it has been a really good season, but I can just see it dying out with a whimper, and like there is no competition for places. I think going into the playoffs, you should have a strong 11 that's in form, and then people on the bench that are like desperate to get on and show what they can do. Where like you look at our bench, like you can't take Gallagher off. We don't have another centre forward. The two midfielders we've had to, like we brung Adam Wharton when he came on, like first 10 minutes, first time he got a ball, drove into the corner flag, beat two men, crossed the ball in.
That was a massive improvement, didn't it?
Yeah. And like we're not asking for much. We're just asking for people. Like I've always said, you can't win a game 11 versus 11. You have to take someone on, and we don't have enough players to just beat a man. It only takes you to beat one man, and then the space opens up, someone else gets dragged out, and that's when chances open up. But it's always the safe option. Whereas Adam Wharton, when he came on, were like on the half turn, beats a man, and then there are a couple of times where he overhit passes and stuff. But he's not match fit, so he's going to do that. But eventually, if you played him, so if you said from now to end of the season, you're going to start every game. I mean, it's probably too late now because by the time he gets fully match fit,
it'll be
season
the
over.
Season, yeah.
But by the time you get to the Millwall game, he probably will be on fire, and then like the sorted passes where we're hitting diagonals to Thomas and it runs through to the keeper, they'll be going to Thomas's feet, and then he'll be charging into the box, get edge or something, and he just offers you a lot more. And so obviously Dad had to do it us, didn't he, on Friday, because I booed after Morton got subbed off, and he's like, you can't boo him, he's a young lad. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like, the thing is, you can't compare it to any other situation because there's never been a situation like it. If Rovers had, when we had Duff and Dunn coming through from the academy, and they were obviously two of our better players, if at that time we'd have got, it was a young player coming through then at the time, if we'd have got someone on loan for a Premier League team who wasn't as good as them two, and he was playing every game.
Michael Carrick.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good player, so I'm trying to think of like a bad player. So say we've got Luke Chadwick on loan from Man United, right? I don't know why he's the first one to come to my head. So we've got Luke Chadwick on loan, the left midfielder. He's not as good as Damien Duff, but he's playing every game, and Duff's not bench. And every time Duff comes on with 10 minutes to go, he beats 3 or 4 men, gets crosses in, nearly sets up goals, nearly scores goals. Next game, Luke Chadwick starts again. The people from that generation would have been like, no, this isn't on. So I don't know this. It's almost like it's just a bit soft football at the minute. I feel like footballers can't take criticism. I'm not like, it's not just people say, oh, they won't say that to his face. Like, I'd just tell him that I don't rate you at all. And I would try and point out and say, I don't hate you because I don't think you're good enough. I hate you because you don't do these things, and you do too much of this, and this. And I feel like young footballers nowadays are so protected in academies and so like mollycoddled, basically, that they're not used to criticism. And the first time they get it, they just shrink. Yeah. Whereas like, and they won't. Them sort of players won't make it. And I think it goes back to the problem with English football in general. Like, they never create winners. They just create, like, they'll create good players, but not mentally strong, will do anything to win because they just think that being a good player is enough. And then at the top level, it never will be enough. Yeah, that's enough about Tyler Morton. What else happened? Yeah, but the 18,000 plus crowd was good. They brought 2,000, and I thought they were good when they went 2-0 up. For the last 20 minutes, it was like dead, weren't it, really?
I think maybe it was a bit of an anticlimax for them as well, in that how easy it was. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I know if like the roles reverse and that was 2-0 up away from home, then
I'll be shitting myself. well, expecting us to get beat still.
No, yeah. But I mean, we're recording this on Easter Sunday, and it just puts so much more pressure on tomorrow now, doesn't it? We need to win tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a must-get win game, and it's not going to be easy because in form, fighting for their lives, they're going to make it difficult because Warnock always does, and Warnock always seems to get a result against us as well. So I'm not confident about tomorrow. I don't know what the team's going to be. I just, like, for me, you have to like make 4 or 5 changes and send a statement out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think if you name the same first 11, we don't get a result, so you have to try something new. Not Kaminsky, I won't change Kaminsky, but Britton had come back in at right back. Costello go at middle.
Travis and Costello,
yeah. Pickering left back. Hyam Carton centre back. Up front, I mean,
I think like not being able to play Thomas is so frustrating because obviously he didn't start on Friday when a lot of people, including myself, feel he should have started.
Yeah.
Especially with how well he played when he came on, and you know, really it was him and Adam Wharton that kind of obviously we didn't end up like getting a goal back, whatever, but it did improve.
Yeah,
and it was down to them too.
Yeah, do you think could you play Smodic up front and play Wharton in behind him? The Gallagher experiment has been weird for like 6 years or something stupid. Like, it's not an experiment anymore, is it? It's just not working. But I mean, Smodic made some really good runs from the centre, like down into the channel where Diaz could flick it out corner. I just think if you play him on the last man, you're more likely to get that space in behind for him to run into. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm tired now.
I'm tired.
Just win a game and play well. Dolan, does he come back in? See, I feel like Dolan has no end products either. I just feel like we need that's something that it's easy saying it. We need a bagsman, but not many of them floating about, is there?
No.
But he's gonna go somewhere else. So, it's. I think if we were to miss out this season, although we weren't expecting it to start the season, admittedly. Problem is, if you say if you finish 7th this year, a point off playoffs, expectations go up for next season.
Next season has to be playoffs if we miss out this season for me.
See, I think just because of the quality of the Championship next season, if you look at the 3 teams coming down from the Prem, which could be any of Southampton, Everton, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Leeds, like they're all massive clubs that would easily they'd be looking at automatic promotion and breaking a record, basically. Yeah. You've also got Sheff Wednesday and Ipswich coming up from League One, who are their expectations next season won't be we need to stay in the Championship. No. They'll be looking at playoffs / promotion. Well, probably not promotion, but they'll be competing. Stoke are going to get better. Sunderland are going to get better. Well, I say Sunderland are going to get better. They'll invest, but
if they change the manager, they'll get better.
But I just think there's a lot of teams this season who haven't got it right, and if they do get it right for next season, they'll be a lot better off. So I'm trying to think who that could possibly be. Like Stoke. If Stoke invest well in the summer, they'll be up there next year. Bristol City, they've still got a decent squad. Probably been disappointed with this year. Yeah. West Brom, Watford. Watford is a massive rebuild for whoever's a manager next season, but
it's constant rebuilding.
But if the first 4 of the 5 managers next season do alright, they could be up there. So yeah, I think if we do miss out this season, next season's again, I think it's more of because I can't see us investing, and I can't see us investing well. The problem is we have to sell before we invest.
Hopefully Brentford will sell Raya, and we'll get some money.
100 million for Raya, and we get 5 million back.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We've wasted a lot of money over the years, haven't we? I don't think that I couldn't name a player that we could sell realistically for enough money to reinvest. I mean, we can't sell Diaz; it's already gone on a free.
Oh yeah,
but I'm talking like 6 million for Gallagher. Would you get $1 million for him now?
I don't think so.
The wages is on as well.
Yeah,
it's like Bradley Dack's out of contract in the summer, and I heard Elliot Jackson and Ryan Hildred on the Inside Brocco podcast talking about would you renew his contract? It would have to be on half wages.
Yeah,
because he got
reduced terms, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't be as bad as pays your player due to injuries and stuff, but you can't be one of the highest earners and miss most of the season, especially if you're not in Thomason's first team plans.
I mean,
Ayala's
news broke earlier that he's going to miss tomorrow's game as well.
Yeah. But I mean, Ayala wouldn't get renewed unless it was like player/coach on reduced terms. That'd be the only way. Gallagher's a top earner. You can't get, but you can't get rid of him. But the problem is the wages on at Rovers, which no other club pays them wages. Even if they're going to offer a fee for him, like he's going to want something from Rovers to go. Like as John Parkins says, like no door, no go. Kaminsky maybe. One of the keepers is going to have to go in summer because you can't have both of them wanting to be first choice goalkeeper. Kaminsky probably has a higher market value than Pers, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So you keep Pers and have Easterman, Hilton as like second and third choice goalkeepers. Who else have you got? Really? Scott Wharton, if he doesn't want to be if he's not going to be a regular next season. But again, he's an academy product. You don't really want to get rid of him, do you?
No. I think there's a lot of players that still have the potential for Rovers to sell for, millions. But I don't think they're at that stage yet. Like players like Adam Wharton, Costello, Carter. They're still developing to get to that point. So in terms of reinvestment, I don't think that's an option in the same way that it has been over the past few summers.
And I also think that after the COVID season, when clubs were struggling with cash and there were a lot of free agents bouncing about, I don't think it's going to be the same this summer. I mean, you've seen Rovers tie over the international break where it's like 6 contract renewals or something like that. There's going to be a lot more of that this summer rather than people going for free and being released, basically.
Yeah.
Mark Ande, does he move on? I mean, Aberdeen manager's not who he is. So.
Barely featured at Aberdeen. It was probably like 8 minutes or something.
Another £1 million wasted. It is just wastage after wastage, isn't it? And £281,000 a year for Steve Waggett for a club that can't sell tickets, refuses to do anything for fans. We're just throwing money into the sea and just hoping that one at Waves brings something back.
Dallas just took a.
I know if you
turn.
listen to this and just wait to I don't know. It's a nice.
Wait till we win tomorrow. Listen to that podcast. When we're all buzzing that we're going up again.
Yeah, but yeah, if it starts raining, don't listen to podcasts. Right. So championship results. We'll start with the first weekend. Yeah. Which was obviously starting meals. Birmingham 1, Blackburn 0. Bristol City 1, Reading 1. Reading -6 points deduction. Are they going down?
Another points deduction.
Are they going down?
It puts them in trouble, doesn't it?
I think they're in relegation zone now, aren't they?
Yeah. I think quite a big portion of their sport is worried now.
Yeah.
Sitting on Twitter, so
you're already losing money going into administration now. They don't have massive fans now, massive crowds and stuff.
No.
It's what happens when you go down to League One?
Yeah.
Especially if they keep Paul as manager, because they won't be optimistic that they're going to come back up. Cardiff 2, Swansea 3, 99th minute winner for Swansea. Stuff of absolute dreams.
Yeah.
Some of the videos that we've seen since then. See, I'm always like, why are people recording last minute free kicks and stuff? But for other people that get to see it afterwards, I think they're actually doing you a favour, because you don't have to record it, but you can still relive it through the footage.
I saw a lot of our fans, and I was saying it myself, after the videos of the limbs are posted on Twitter, just one moment that, it was before an away game that we went to earlier this season. I was trying to find the last minute winner we scored away from home, and I was looking back through the games. It was Blackpool away in the Premier League, Brett Emerton.
That was the last added time winner?
Yeah, away from home. That's 13 years ago.
Yeah. We had one that season, it must have been Hoylett away at Villa. It might have been marked down as a Richard done on goal, but from where we were in the stand, it looked like Hoylett headed it.
Yeah.
We beat them 1-0. It weren't for anything. We finished 8th or something. They finished 5th outside of Champions League places. So it wasn't an important goal, but I remember that being like 87th, 88th minute. Definitely late on anyway. But yeah, we'd never seem to get... Even at home, and don't have moments like... We had a few in COVID season, but nothing...
Yeah, I remember there was one that Armstrong scored, weren't there?
Yeah.
It was like against...
Did they go 1-0 up in like 80th minute or something?
Watford, I think, maybe. Who were it?
The one with Daniel Lawler headed it back across to me and nodded it in a back post.
Yeah. There were a couple in COVID season.
Was one against Reading?
No, we got beat at home to Reading, didn't we? It was that 4-2. And they scored after like 8 seconds or something, do you remember?
I don't remember anything COVID season.
I remember 1920, Buckley scored that deflected winner. And
Chef Wednesday.
Yeah.
Coventry 0, Stoke 4. Absolute battering for Stoke. And again, I just think they'll get stronger with Alex Neil next season. Coventry just can't score. Huddersfield 4, Middlesbrough 2. Shock of the weekend, definitely. Middlesbrough, I think it's playoffs only for Middlesbrough now, innit? Not going to get top 2.
Yeah.
Hull 0, Rotherham 0. No comment. Norwich 0, Sheffield United 1. I think Sheffield United are up just because of like Borough's failings and them keep winning somehow. Wigan 1, QPR 0. Oh, West Brom 0, Millwall 0. Again, I just didn't put out like I said mid-table dead rubber. Millwall are up there, aren't they? I just don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's between us and Millwall for dropping out. I think 3rd and 4th are definitely going up in the playoffs. Luton and Middlesbrough. I think us and Millwall can definitely still drop out if other teams below start picking up points. Wigan 1, QPR 0. QPR free falling. Could go down if Reading pick up more points.
Could do.
It's something like 17 games. Like we out to win.
It's unbelievable. Isn't it?
17 losses.
I saw like a picture of the championship table from I think it was after 16 or 17 games, and I think they were like second in between us and Burnley and us. So we were third, and it was Burnley, QPR, us.
Yeah.
After like 16 or 17 games.
It's madness, isn't it? Ever since Beale got linked to Aston Villa job, killed him. Luton 2, Watford 0. Watford just weren't interested. Luton are up there more or less. I think that's them done. Preston 3, Blackpool 1. Big derby win for Preston. And then Burnley 0, Sunderland 0. But not really asked about that. Middlesbrough 1, Burnley 2. Nothing to write about that either. Sunderland 4, Hull 4. 98th minute penalty for Hull. 4-4 is just a mad championship mid-table
really
game.
game to watch a neutral.
Yeah. Just nothing riding on it at all. Blackpool 1, Cardiff 3. 6-pointer for Cardiff in the battle against relegation. I think that's them safe now. I think they'll just pick up enough points. I don't think Wigan and Blackpool... I thought if Blackpool beat them, they could possibly catch them, but Wigan and Blackpool are down now for me. Yeah. QPR 0, Preston 2. Preston were 2-1 before the game to win against QPR, who have lost, like we said, the last 17 games or something stupid like that. And Preston are probably one of the best away teams in the league.
That's good odds, is that? Really?
Yeah, class odds. Reading 1, Birmingham 1. Could be a crucial point for Reading, but probably not enough. Sheffield United 1, Wigan 0. Promoted now, Sheffield United. Stoke 1, Bristol City 2. Mid-table dead rubber. That's the problem. Like, gets like this stage of the season, Marford games pre-season friendlies for next year, aren't they? Really.
Well, there was a pre-season field to Rovers on Friday.
On Friday,
there shouldn't have been.
Pace to it anyway. Swansea 0, Coventry 0. Can't seem to score Coventry. Watford 2, Huddersfield 3. Watford, did you see the keeper having an absolute meltdown?
No, I didn't see that, no.
So, Watford got a free kick on like the halfway line for like a Huddersfield player kicking their players off the ball. Something a bit like scrappy anyway. Keeper on the way to the box, the keeper runs over, shouts at the referee and pushes one of their players, gets booked. Then the free kick gets launched into the box, it's bouncing around, and he just drop kicks former Rovers player Matty Pearson, centre back, Huddersfield. He like diving headers it, and he like, it's almost like a hurricanrana. Like, it's awful. And then the ref comes over second yellow, and he's like, what? But yeah, just absolute meltdown from him. And like Wilder's just like shaking his head like, what is my first choice keeper doing? Like the last minute, like, what is he doing? Huddersfield, massive fight back. I've put them to be relegated all season, so I'm going to be left with egg on my face, it looks like it. Rotherham 3, West Brom 1. Rotherham staying up. West Brom not good enough for top 6. Not playing well enough. I think if they got into the top 6, I think any team would be hoping to draw them, really. Millwall 0, Luton 0 was the playoff dinner time kick-off where both of them, I think they almost like accepted a point each before kick-off. It was like, one didn't like lay a glove on each other. So that is the championship results. What else do you want to talk about? VAR. Result.
Yeah, so another shocking day for VAR yesterday.
Yesterday was the worst.
Yeah. Well, the early kickoff was the Old Firm, weren't it? And Rangers had the
goal, Morales' goal disallowed.
Yeah, Morales' goal disallowed for a push, apparently, even though it was like a 50-50 in the box.
Yeah, 6 1 and a half a dozen over, weren't it?
Yeah. Now, that's one of them, because the referee has given it. Like, can VAR say it's a clear and obvious error because it's the referee's interpretation of it?
Yeah.
The referee's seen a foul, and you could argue that there's evidence for a foul because Morales has got 2 hands in his back, but you've got to take the whole thing, for me, into consideration, and like Morales is being held.
Yeah, but it's got to the point now, like, so you literally cannot use your hands in the box, and it's something that's always happened in football. Like, if the ball's coming over and one of you's trying to head it, like, you'll always like put your arm there, like, to stop them backing into you, like headbutting your face. So like, but like, and then when you're marking someone, you'll always have like an arm across or something. But it feels like if you've got an arm across and the ball hits your arm, like when you've got a hold of someone, it's a penalty. Well, no, because he's not done that to block the shot or block the cross. He's done that because it's a contact sport, and that's how everyone defends, or that's how everyone and even attackers do it as well. But yeah, I didn't really understand it. There was one in the United game where the second. Have you seen the goals from last night? Did you watch matchday?
I watched the first 2 games, fell asleep.
Classic.
No, I saw the Brighton incidents, but I didn't see anything else really.
So the United one, long ball from Martinez. Rashford is offside. Coleman's tried to control it, missed it. Like he's like gone under his foot and like squirmed, and then Rashford squared it to Martial. Martial scored. They said because Coleman's purposely tried to play it, is not offside, but I think if Rashford's not there, then Coleman just lets it go out for a goal kick. He only has to control it because Rashford's behind him.
Right.
So I think because Rashford's... Or just because Coleman's tried to play it, I still think Rashford's offside.
Because like, Rashford's interfered with his decision-making.
Yeah. But what they're saying is like
just
Coleman...
him being there.
Yeah. It doesn't make... I don't really like it. I just think if you're offside, you're offside. There was one in the... Well, there was quite a few in the Newcastle game. So the penalty for Tony's first goal, just absolutely shocking. Like, Isaac goes to clear the ball, Rico Henry diving headers it, and he catches it on the hip, and it would have been it is a soft penalty, and I don't think it should be a penalty. The VAR official watches it 30 times in slow motion before even asking the referee to come over. He watches it 30 times. So, like, I think if you're having to watch it 30 times in slow motion, it's not.
You're looking for
it's
it.
not a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking for the contact. They're looking for a reason to give it. And I don't know. I'm just fed up with it. I'm just fed up with football at the minute. But the Brighton one,
keep it, get rid of it, change it,
make it an appeal system. Because the Brighton game yesterday, the one where it hits off his hip and he's give it for handball, I don't think any Tottenham player appeals for it. They've had to watch it 1,001 times in slow motion to see it brush his arm on the way past after it's hit his hip. And I just think, you know what? I think it's being used to keep the top 4 up. It does favour the biggest teams in the league.
A game like that, I think.
Yeah. Like, could they have overtook Spurs yesterday? They'd have won.
Let's get the league table up.
But yeah, I just think it's been introduced to like influence big games and keep the big teams towards the top of the league.
So they would have gone within a point of them. Because Spurs are in 5th on 53 and Brighton are in 7th on 46.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I just think it's shocking. Well, it's cheating, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's like Newcastle have been stung a few times with VAR. I don't change it. I think appeal system. That's the furthest way until the players are actually saying like that's definitely a penalty. Can you go and watch it? But until then, like you can't have players lining up for a goal kick and then the referee 3 minutes later going to watch something and then giving a penalty. Like, one, it's unfair on the fans. Two, it's unfair on the players. And we've already seen Mitrovic lose his head at one of them. And that sort of reaction will carry on happening because it's confusion that leads to frustration. It's not the decision. It's not anger. It's confusion because you don't know what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. They're never going to change it, are they? Because it's working well for them, for the results that they want, and for the script that they want to follow.
For the established elite.
Yeah. What else has happened in the football world?
Chaos at Chelsea, really, I suppose. With Lampard.
Yeah, Lampard getting back in. Like, it's like glorified failure, innit? You do bad, you get linked to every job in. Football manager's the only thing you can do bad at and get offered another big job. It just wouldn't happen in any other line of work. And I think English bias comes into it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Gerrard linked with a few jobs, and I just think after the job he did at Rangers and the job he did at Aston Villa, like you see how well Emery's doing now at Villa. So like,
yeah, he's really turned things around there, haven't they? I mean, could get European football after all.
Yeah, which is what they should be getting. They should be aiming for that. Anyway.
Yeah, they should be aiming for
top six
Conference League, Europa League.
Whoa.
Better than Champions League.
I love that anthem that he was.
It's a shame how it went for Potter, I suppose. I mean, I don't think the circumstances of everything that's going on at the club at the minute helped. Abramovich, new owners who
signing 29 attacking midfielders and no striker.
It's yet to be seen how it's going to go under them in the long term, but so far it's been dubious with the money they've spent. Not convinced at all by Mudryk. Not convinced.
I don't. Is he that kind of player that takes chances and like clinical finisher? Is he just? He's just pace basically, isn't he? Like a blonde Theo Walcott.
Someone calling the Chernobyl Dan James.
That was a good shout. But yeah, he's just absolutely rapid, and his end product is Chernobyl Dan James. Love that. Yeah, there's some shocking signings they made. I mean, Havertz is at number 9, is he? Let's be honest. Chelsea be listening. Sam Gallagher is available for the reduced price of 42
Did you watch
million.
that Chelsea-Liverpool game the other night?
Shocking standard. That was like Chelsea-Liverpool like 15 years ago when they were both... Well, not 15 years ago. Like 20 years ago when they were both crap.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Like the Julia and Ranieri phase of Chelsea-Liverpool.
Yeah. Like people calling it before the Battle of Mid. It was just so poor. Like the amount of times both teams gave the ball away cheaply.
But like Chelsea got some decent players at middle, so like you'd think like possession would be like their forte. Like Enzo Fernandez is a good player. Kovacic is a class player. I love Kovacic, but it's just once they pass it forward to the other ones, they're absolutely bobbins up there, aren't they?
Yeah. Finishing was shocking. Like Dan James had the best shot all night, and that was ruled out for an offside, wasn't it? I mean, when Havertz raced through, like it's it straight at Alisson, and then it's hit off his hand and gone in.
There was one where I think Kovacic like rounded the keeper and then just like it was like tap dancing on ball like 4 yards out. Put it in the back of the net. Man. People just want to score the perfect goal all the time rather than. I mean, that's what like Gallagher was like on Friday, rather than throwing everything over the line, trying to like side foot it and make it like a nice.
I was fuming at that one.
Nice half volley. That's just throw your ass at it and bundle everything over the line, that, innit?
I just thought it was so slow to react to it.
Well,
surely he's got to like anticipate Just something. Just be there.
He gets a lot of credit for how much he runs and he works hard, but like, there was one where he beat the centre back to it, nodded it round him, gets the byline, whips a crossing that like takes the paint off the crossbar. Like, it goes behind the goalkeeper, doesn't it, basically? And like, no one's there at the back post. And I was like, who's there? Like, who's there? He's put it on goal line. Like, the cross should be landing on the penny spot or in between the penny spot and City's yard box, not behind the goalkeeper. So, just.
We go again. Come on.
We go again Monday. You're going, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
You going on Craven?
No, I'm going to train.
Is it trains on Easter Monday?
Yeah.
What time train?
12 minutes to 9 from Blackburn. And I'm working tonight as well.
What time till?
1:30. If we go all that way to get beat. I say all that way. It's only Huddersfield.
Only like 45 minutes on the train.
Yeah, but, you know, back-to-back defeats. Working tonight.
Well,
Could drop out the playoffs.
Steve's going in his last win that he went to a West Ham. Didn't go to Leicester because he was at court. He wasn't at court, he was on jury service. He was on jury service, difference. And he went to the Stoke game with us, went to Sheffield United with us, where we obviously got beat. So he's hoping for his first win tomorrow. And then there's not many games left. There's a Preston and Millwall. That's the only away games we've got.
I suppose something could talk about to finish on is another game being moved to Sky.
Sky Sports Blackburn Rovers.
The final home game of the season against Luton moved to May Day at 5:30.
Yeah. What I don't understand is who wants to watch that. Like, are there any clubs of neutral, like, not that don't support them, tuning into Blackburn versus Luton on a Monday night?
I suppose
Bank holiday tea time.
They want this 10 in 10 thing, don't they? And they want, like, it must be the only playoff battle on that day, I suppose.
Could we know like 10th by then?
Me too. Yeah, it's annoying, really, isn't it? Like, I suppose it doesn't really change anything for us because we live in Blackburn, so we can just go down there anytime, really. But,
yeah.
Like, for fans that live, we said it before, fans that live further afield.
Yeah, it's just. Well, like, this is what we just keep repeating ourselves about season tickets, don't we? Like, so we've got the fourth most expensive one this year, and like, is it one of our last 13 home games have been Saturday 3:00? And like, you buy a season ticket on the basis that your game's gonna be Saturday 3:00. Like, if someone said they're gonna be Friday at 12:00, then most people wouldn't buy a season ticket. It's like you judge it on it being at a Saturday 3:00 or worse Sunday dinner time or whatever, but not Monday tea time on a bank holiday.
Is it just
like the next game Saturday tea time? Saturday night time, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's Saturday night football against Hull.
Like, if you live like further afield than Bolton, last train home's gonna be past. By the time you get back to Blackburn Tracey, past then.
Yeah. So. It's,
lots to think about. Lots to think about for our £300,000 a year director. Lots to think about.
To me, it's more, you know, it's another argument to support the DAZN deal. Like, if you said to DAZN, look, you can get rid of the 3:00 blackout, but every game has to be shown at 3:00. Yeah, that's got to be a bargaining. Well,
like, they could probably say like every game's at 3:00, but you can pick one game. Like a feature game
to show at a different slot.
Yeah,
but that's it. Like, you can't.
Which for me would always have to be Saturday tea time. That's like, you couldn't have dinner time kickoffs because people can't get there for a start early enough.
Or maybe like if it's dinner time kickoff, it has to be local.
Oh yeah,
relatively local.
Like maybe they can like select 3 or 4 that are available for them times. But like Sky,
local derbies and stuff.
It's almost like Sky pick the worst ones possible, like Newcastle, Brighton, or something like that. Like us and Norwich.
Do you remember a couple of seasons back, us versus Norwich down at their place at that Saturday night slot?
Yeah, and that last train home was before the second half started, I think it were. But yeah, it's there's a lot to think about, and I think something's been announced today where Premier League executives are on about voting for having individual streaming rights rather than going with the Sky and BT.
Right.
Now, that is not something I support at all, because at the minute, the Sky Sports deal, everyone gets 200 million, don't they? Like, flat rate. Whereas if they change that individual streaming rights, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal
Gonna make ridiculous amounts of
money. And like Bournemouth aren't going to get anywhere near.
And the thing is as well, how do you... someone's got to be able to... If that was to happen, someone's got to be able to regulate it.
Yeah.
You can't be charging...
We'll have City like signing up for like 100,000 subscriptions in background, trying to launder money into the club. We all fall. Like we see the Chinese people, we all fall on that wall.
And, stuff like that. But as well as that, it's like you can't be charging ridiculous amounts for fans overseas. You shouldn't be charging the same amount for the amount of charge for match tickets, because it's just
not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll see.
That shouldn't be one of those things that it shouldn't happen. That
no. Right, you're going away on Tuesday, aren't you?
Yeah.
We will be back after the Huddersfield game, whether it be teams or however we want to manage it. We'll figure something out. But
if we get beat, we might leave it.
Yeah, might just leave it till like August or something. Pre-season. We'll do a pre-season preview.
We're back, season 2.
But yeah, we're back after the Huddersfield game. Enjoy the game if you can. That's
it.
Anything else to add? Last bits? Last word?
We go again.
We go again.
Basically the message.
Alright, we'll see you in a bit.
See you later.